Does anyone know what reverb and echo are?
You know, who'll know? Tell us, Mr. Audio.
When you stand on the rim of a canyon and yell, "Ho-oh!" Ho-oh! And you hear your word a second or so later, that's an example of echo. Essentially, it's the sound that's reflected back to the listener. There can be multiple reflections, as sound bounces off walls, floors, ceilings, and other hard objects. When these reflections arrive very close together, the listener no longer hears a distinct echo. This then is reverb, short for reverberation. It's what people hear when they sing in the shower. At one time, studios had rooms called echo chambers, a misnomer since they actually were creating reverb. They had a speaker that played back the sound and a mic to pick up the reflections from the room. Later, springs and also metal plate reverbs were used in studios. Tape recorders were typically used to create actual echo. The studio term for this was slapback. Today, both reverb and echo can be created digitally. When used properly, they can add a live quality to the recording and help in getting a better performance.
Thanks, Mr. Audio.
What happens when an idiot meets his echo?
I'm pretty. I'm pretty. I'm prettier. I'm prettier. No, I'm prettier. No, I'm prettier. I am. I am. You're dumb. You're dumb. I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? Oh, he's good.
The electronic telegraph began its life in different parts of Europe and North America. Its ascent to media dominance during the 1800s was due in part to the growing railroad networks. The need to communicate faster than the transportation of messages via railroad or boats was finally resolved in 1837. Samuel Morse effectively patented the first electronic telegraph for instantaneous communication. It finally separated transportation from communication, breaking down all barriers of time and space by reducing the time between information being produced to its reception. The sender inputs their message using Morse code on one end, transporting it across transcontinental wires, while the receiver automatically records the transmission on the other end. In 1843, the U.S. government paid to string wires 35 miles from Washington to Baltimore. And within a few years, the first telegraph line had sprouted a system stretching across the United States. This telegraph network unified the United States across all major cities. However, the next step was aimed at breaking the continental isolation between Europe and North America. On August 5, 1858, a successful wire connection was laid across the Atlantic Ocean, using undersea cables to connect Newfoundland to Ireland. It was during this time that Samuel Morse sent the first transatlantic message, "What hath God wrought?" This message marked the beginning of a long and arduous journey to establish a stable means for long-distance communication. It wasn't until 1866 that a reliable connection was made. This marked the beginning of instantaneous communication between Europe and the United States, which continues today. Following the years of transcontinental unity, the telegraph was adapted for two-way communication during World War I. This technological breakthrough ignited the flame of modern media we know today.